Yeah. All right. Now, first, I would like to welcome Dr. Reza Akbari. Uh, is he? Dr. Akbari is currently a program manager and a senior lecturer at RMIT Vietnam. So, thank you for joining us today, Dr. Akbari. It is our pleasure to have you with us. All right. Now the stage is yours. The Zoom is yours. All right.
Thank you very much. Is my voice clear? Everybody can hear me?
Yes, it's very clear. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar. And I have to say thank you everybody for arranging this, because this is, I know it takes lots of time and effort to arrange it. And thank you for everybody joining this webinar actually. And I hope, I mean, the previous webinars, they were fantastic. And I hope this one also adds some knowledge, and you can have lots of takeaway from it and help you with your research, and lots of success hopefully after this video publication as well. So my name is, you can call me Reza. So I'm the senior lecturer and senior program manager at RMIT Vietnam. Just a little bit of background, been here for almost 5 years and I've been enjoying every single minute of here, right? So it's a little bit of background from myself. Let's go through, let me start sharing my screen. I think I can share the screen. One. Okay. Okay, great. So you can see my, hopefully see my screen now. All right. You can see my screen, right? Is sharing?
Yes, yes, yeah. It's perfect.
Okay, that's great. Great to know. All right. What I'm going to do, me and my co-author, or my students as well, what we're going to do is we're going to share one of the papers, actually, one of the papers that we worked together and co-authored together. And I will start with a little bit of theory first, and then we go through the example. We're going to our own paper as an example, and I'm going through all the steps we take to reach to the time that we publish it as well. I will show you different examples as well, but the main structure of the presentation today would be the example from our own paper, right? So one of the methods of you can publish, or you can even start your PhD, or you can start your master thesis or any research, is which is very trendy these days, is we call it the structured literature review, or you might hear it as a systematic literature review, right? They use the both term at the same time. So, all right, let's go backward because a little bit slow. Okay. I will start with a little bit of definition first, and then go to the steps. So we know a little bit of background. Again, we're going to make it as simple as possible, and I will try my best to speak as slow as possible, so in case we can catch up very easier. So, and also then after those steps, we go through example. And then at the end, I'll be passed to my co-author. She would go through it and she share her experience, her inspiring experience with you guys as well. And then we have the Q&A at the end. You can ask any questions related to the topic as well. So let's go through a little bit of definition. What is a structured or systematic review means, basically? It's a high-level overview of a primary research focusing on question, right? So we raise some questions and we want to answer those questions. By going through some of the evidence, we're going to do identifying, we're going to look into selecting, synthesizing, and also appraisal as well. So this is what is basically the systematic literature review or structured literature review is. Let's have a look at the differences, because we always have the questions that they ask, what's the difference between literature review and systematic approach to it? Basically, a literature review, when we do a literature review, in every paper that we write, we need to have a literature review section. Every thesis you've done. Why we do that? Because we need to come to some hypothesis, we want to come to reach to some question, right? What we do is basically we reproducing what is out there, right? So systematic or explicit or reproducible of the methods to investigate, assess, and understanding what is actually exists in that discipline. No matter what discipline we're looking for, what is existing. So that's a literature review, right? We basically reproduce what is there. We cite the authors, we look into it to be able to raise some of our hypotheses, some of the relationship, or some of the research questions that we ask. All right. Now, a systematic approach to it is when we can identify, when we can analyze the data with the purpose of procuring clear conclusion, and also we need to identify gaps in the research. It might be one gap, it might be we identify so much gap in there. And also the main important part of this kind of literature-assisted literature review is we identify future research direction as well. Later I'm going to say why this is so important, because you will see why those future direction important for academia or academic worlds as well, right? So in our discipline, right? So we might have different disciplines. So it doesn't matter. My background, for example, is in logistics and supply chain, but it doesn't matter. Somebody background might be in international business. Somebody background might be in finance. Somebody background might be in any of these backgrounds as well. So basically, we're going to using this systematic literature review to find those trends, what's happening in terms of years, in terms of many things, right? So what is the current trend happening there? All right, establish those practices and looking into, all right, what's the future look like? Where are we heading to? And also we can even direct other researchers, okay, this is the way we need to go. This is, we identify this gap, we need to go that way. These are the differences between a systematic review and literature review. All right, so I thought to give you a little bit of background, because sometimes the question is there, what's the difference between literature review and systematic review, right? So in terms of the definition, right, systematic review is a high-level overview of the primary research on focusing on those questions or synthesizing. Literature review looking into basically qualitatively summarizing the evidence on a topic using informal or subjective methods to collect or interpret other studies, right? So this is in terms of the definition. You can see there are different goals, different questions we ask, different components and stuff. So some of these are important. For example, the way we use the question, which I'm going to show you two methods that you can create the question in systematic review. One of them is Pico, and we have another one, Spider, as well. So component-wise, a paper that is literature review and a paper that is systematic review, component-wise, the difference are here. Let me use the pen. Here we do a little bit of pre-specified eligibility criteria. We go through some sort of a strategic search, right? We're looking into a little bit of validity of the finding, interpretation, and of course the reference list. In the literature review, it goes introduction, method, discussion, conclusion, and the references, right? So you can see even in terms of the component we use in the structure of the paper is a little bit different. Number of authors, this is common, but this is not what they say. Usually in a systematic review, we have around a couple of authors, but this is not common. I publish a systematic review just myself. Me and two also published together, so two of us, and I have papers with more author in there as well, right? So again, it's we can say it's mostly like that, but anybody can actually contribute to this. Which is the literature review is mostly one author, it can be more as well. So again, these are the slight differences between these two. Timeline. I know everybody wants to know how fast you can produce a systematic or structured literature review. So timeline can be different. So for the systematic review, it can be between months to years, or even they said average it can take even to 18 months as well. Literature review can be weeks to 2 months as well. Look, depends how fast you can go. The first literature review, I mean, the systematic review that I published, it takes around, because it was just myself, it takes more than 6 months just for myself to establish the entire paper, and it takes a couple of months and a year to publish it, right? So again, different timing depends on how, sometimes it depends on how deep you know the topic, because sometimes when you go through the topic, you might identify things that even yourself you need to learn as well. So again, it depends on those areas as well, but it can be 1 to 2 years as well. So it depends on how fast and how dedicated you are to that paper at that time. Some of you guys might have several things going at the same time, so that might take even longer. There are some requirements. The values are a lot there. Look, this systematic review mostly come from the health system and stuff, and it comes to business and every single discipline that you can think. So most of the sources that you might find, they might talking about clinical questions and stuff. So which is can be broader to any discipline anyway. So don't get surprised if you see that. It's very common in health sector and stuff. So let's go further a little bit. I don't want to spend too much on the theories.